Hello, so I am going to be putting up this little sign of my 5 rules in my gym, and they're things that I talk about with my clients all the time that really have a lot to do with mindset about going about our health goals. And I thought I should just do a vlog about this because I think they're really huge things that sometimes we already know, but we just need to be reminded of it. Just to like come back to that foundation of what's important and what do we really need in our toolbox to succeed. And the first rule that I have is practice consistency. My rule is pick one habit. My motto is one step closer, one step at a time. So with my clients, we focus on one habit at a time. And the idea of that is to practice that habit like 85-90% of the time for at least 2 weeks. And if we do that, we can actually see if the plan is working or not. And if it is, great, we can keep moving forward. Not only that, but the more you practice that habit and the more consistent you are with it, the more it becomes easy and natural. Number 2 is to practice self-honesty, and with that comes self-love. So this one is really tricky, but I'm just going to ask you a question. Do you have friends in your life that can literally tell you some hard things about yourself, but they do it in such a way that you're like, oh my gosh, I'm really glad that you said that. Like, that is so true, but I really feel your love. Like, I can feel you're not judging me because I got my mess and you got your mess, and that's cool. And it's something that we often don't see in ourselves, or we kind of know, but we've kind of pushed away because it's like, it could be this lie that we believe about ourselves that's kind of become our identity, and so it becomes hard to like pull away. It's so common to us, if that makes sense. When we practice self-honesty, that just means that we take a step back and we look at what we're doing. So like looking at our behaviors and kind of reflecting back on why we do things the way that we do. Sometimes that means we ask other people, questions about things that they see in our life. But if you can get in that habit of practicing self-honesty, because self-honesty is not going to let us stay in some of those dark places we like to stay and hide in, so that's kind of why I see they lump together. Number 3 is practice observing and learning. And this is like just learning to be in tune to yourself and just observing and giving yourself the permission to not necessarily change what you're doing, but just to observe what you're doing and see like what's working and what's not, and then committing to learn from that. So going, okay, I've noticed that I always do this in this situation, or I've noticed that when I eat this just kind of makes me feel crappy. And not necessarily having to change all of those things right away. But that's a really, really, really big foundational habit. Number 4 is practice patience, because in all of this, we're going to get a lot of this wrong, right? You're going to, if you give yourself the permission to learn along the way, you're going to try some things, you're going to be really consistent about it, and it's not going to work. And that totally happens. Like, something may have worked for you 5-10 years, maybe even a year ago, and all of a sudden you're doing that again now and it's just not working. Just be patient with yourself. Try a new method, see what works, and just be patient. Like, this whole process is sometimes kind of a crapshoot. There's not one size fits all. Even for our own self in our life, we're gonna need different things in different seasons. So give yourself a little bit of compassion and have a little bit of patience, and you'll be able to really go the long haul. The last one is practice playfulness, because if you can have fun with this whole thing and not take yourself so incredibly seriously, but just have fun with it, I guarantee that you're going to enjoy this process a lot more, and you're not going to hate it. There are going to be some things that maybe aren't really that great, but if you can practice playfulness, I guarantee you this is going to be like a lifestyle commitment. Practice consistency, practice self-honesty and love, practice observing and learning, practice patience, and practice playfulness. So if you found this to be helpful, share that with your friends and let me know which one of these 5 rules resonated the most with you. See you soon.